Similar to digital. Hanging with little waist, you a fan, a phony, a fake. It don't even matter about the knees. It don't even matter. It's just. What's going on, fellas? Back has been cracked up. And I had this guy in the gym. He said he was 53 years old. He's been training since he was a teenager, but he told me to flip around on the behind the neck and not worry about the knees at all, because you don't need the knees if you're faced the other way. And man, I felt my back. I felt my back nice. It was a nice set. Nice set. I feel like someone being right there watching me too. I feel like it gave me some extra juice. Got like 13 reps for like a minute and 45, which is pretty bananas. But I usually do 150 on him, but he told me to take off the 10. He was like, you won't need that 10. I promise you. I was like, you sure, man? I usually do 150 on the normal behind the neck, and yeah, so lowered it to 140, and then still ended up doing more than I intended to, but that was good. We did the high to lat row after the lat pull down, which I think was a good choice. And then that high to low, it like shreds my lower lats like nothing else. Like when I build the full body or the bulk program, I'm gonna keep that in mind, because I want to hit the back from different angles. I don't want to use the same angle for more than one set. There's no point. If I'm going to failure, I'm already causing the adaptation in that position. I don't need to do more. So, but the topic for today is how to build a full body split routine, or like basically build a full split. And so I realized I've never actually done that before for you guys. So I'm going to give you a couple of rules to kind of follow, and then I'll give an example. So like a couple rules that I adapted from Mike Menser would be try to reduce overlapping. It's like if you can, you don't want to hit upper, then like in Menser's 4-day program, he had chest and back, then legs, then shoulders and arm, then legs. As he believed having two uppers back to back is not ideal, because you're still using something in the system. But try to reduce overlapping as much as possible. Try to reduce junk volume or junk stuff. Like if you're doing an exercise and you really don't feel the muscle you're targeting, why are you doing that exercise? Unless you're sticking it out for like a few weeks and you're trying to see if you can do it better, that's understandable. But after a month, at the most, if you're not better at doing the exercise or you're not feeling what you should be feeling, probably try something else. You might feel it better. So reduce overlapping, and try to do as minimal as required for your goals, essentially. So like an example of a program would be what I used to do, which was Monday I would do chest, shoulders, Wednesday legs and arms, Friday back and shoulders. Reduces overlapping a lot, because in the leg day you're just using arms, which the only overlap there is the fact that in your back movements you might use your bicep, and in your chest movements you're using your triceps. But the better you get at using your chest and your back, the less those will be involved on specific movements. Obviously, as you get super heavy in a bench, maybe you're going to use triceps. That's just how it is. But an effective way to do that would just be hit triceps on the chest day and hit biceps on the back day, and only do legs on Wednesday, but I wanted to spice it up and kind of have fun with it, so that's what I did. Another example would be like say you were doing an on and off type of thing. So day on, day off, and you have a back day, or let's say you have. Well, I mean, it's pretty simple. Push pull legs. Like there's push pull legs. There's what I was doing, which is like very similar, but I wasn't. I was doing shoulders on both days. Um, Upper lower, like there's all sorts of stuff you can do, but if you're going to full failure, try to hit everything at least once a week. Twice might be more effective. If your system can't handle it, you'll be able to tell and you can reduce it. But for the most part, you want to at least hit everything really hard once a week. Um, for beginners, honestly, I would recommend like an upper lower, maybe every other day, or a full body every other day. I would say upper lower might be better. And make sure you take that day of rest because you're trying to see gains. You are not trying to necessarily increase the adaptation of adapting. Like, you're not trying to increase your body's ability to handle stress. That'll come over time. You want to put on size. So make sure to take that rest day so you can actually grow. Because post annihilation, you have to first recover, which in my mind, that takes at least one full night of sleep, like, and some meals to recover. And then you'll need another day, and that next night is your grow night. So you have a recovery night and a grow night. And I think if you're in a bulk, if you're really trying to put on size and you're not under the notion that more is better, then that's the way to go. So, but yeah, so that's my take on that. In terms of specific movements, I would like when I was new, I just went around the gym doing a lot of stuff. Like in my apartment gym, I just did every machine. Like I just went hard, dude. Like get your body accustomed to going hard. Um, I think when I was very first starting out, I actually did go every day to the apartment gym, but I didn't have access to a full gym, and I wasn't exactly. I don't know. Maybe there's a stage at the beginning for like maybe 2 months, maybe 6 weeks, where going every day is actually super beneficial because your body has a lot to adapt in that time. But once you're better at going hard and you're able to go harder, I think the rest days become more important. And Dorian Yates and Mike Menser are under the same logic. The bigger you get, the more rest you need, because your body has to recover from the increased annihilation that you're able to produce. And then it has to grow still. So but if you're building a split, or if you're new, try a bunch of different stuff. See what feels good. If you're on back, I recommend trying to have something. So there's movements like you have a row, you have a pull, and then you have a pull from down. Um, I would say if you're in a bulk, deadlifts are good as long as your form is straight. I would say form should be number one priority. I saw a lot of strength increase and like stability, and like my deadlift of 315 is like when I show y'all when I'm back on a bulk and I show y'all the deadlift, like it is slow as hell. Like the negative, we're not just pulling the weight up and dropping it, pulling the weight up and dropping it. No, that is controlled the whole time. So it's a lot of like stress on your back. And so if you do it right and you take one set with perfect form to failure, I do believe there is a lot of stimulation in the deadlift because you're not just pulling it off the ground. When you're going back down, you're lowering it like a hip hinge almost. That's what I do. I'll show y'all because my deadlift, I kind of combine deadlift and RDL, I think, like in the way I do it. But I don't use my hamstrings. The RDL, I'm only like that's why it's not an RDL, but I'm only using my back. Like I'm just like you'll see. So I would say deadlift is good if you're bulking. If you're in a deficit, maybe don't do deadlift. It's too much fatigue and stress on your entire body. For chest, I would recommend not doing a bunch of flat bench. Plenty of studies and plenty of bodybuilders have shown and said it's pointless. You work your chest in the incline press, you work your lower chest enough, and doing dips too, like doing dips intentional with your chest, you're gonna build a lower chest. You don't need to be doing flat bench. Spend that time doing incline bench and build the upper chest and get stronger. Because in the incline bench, you use your lower chest too. It's just as you go up, you use more and more of the upper chest. So I would recommend having an upper press, an upper stretch, so like some type of incline fly or high to low fly or something. I would recommend having a normal stretch, like a pec deck, and I would recommend having the dip. So those are my 4 recommended chest exercises. You can do whatever variations you want, but be intentional. Use your chest. Do it right. Arms. Recently, I've been doing underhand pull down a lot. Um, I just feel strong in it. I feel like I can. I feel like it uses a lot of juice out of my biceps instead of the curls. But standing barbell curls are good too. Straight bars better because your wrist is more supinated, equals more bicep action. Uh, if you're having wrist problems, use an easy bar maybe, but I would recommend just maybe going a little lighter and trying to build the strength in your wrist because that's just a weakness. Like your wrist hurting because it's in a straight position and you're lifting it up. That's just a weakness. You just need to get through it. You need to adapt through it. Um, Legs are pretty simple: extension, a curl, a calf raise, abduction, adduction. Bam. If you're in a bulk, throw a squat, throw a Smith squat, a hack squat, a reverse hack squat, a pendulum squat, whatever the hell you got. Throw all that in there. And yeah. So that's that. Then so that's chest, back, legs, triceps, triceps, yeah. Probably my favorite tricep exercise is the kneeling overhead extension. I feel like it challenges my triceps like no other way. But the dip machine sat in backwards and used kind of back a little bit where you're only using tricep is nice. But yeah. So tried everything at least once to full failure. If you're new, maybe go every day. If you're an amateur, which is like maybe 6 months in, I don't know, 3 months in. Once you start feeling comfortable, maybe I don't know what it. I don't know. Then you can start like going every other day, especially if you're at a bulk. If you're in a deficit, you need to be safe. Focus on form. You don't want to get hurt. Injuries set you back more than not lifting that heavy weight did. So that's it for me. I'm about to go hit the sauna. It is burning up today. It's 90 degrees in Texas today. But all right, I'll catch you fellas later. Sauna done. I'm. Ooh, man, that shit feels so good. Being there at like 200 degrees, just dripping, brother. Oh, it's so nice. Obviously, I dry off with the towel afterwards because I'm not trying to be soaked in freaking sweat sitting in my car. And I don't wear these clothes in the sauna either. So. But to get to the questions, first one is how do you know when to increase weight on a lift versus focusing on better form or more reps? I would say your concern when doing a set should always be to focus on form. And the only time that you should increase weight is if you hit the upper threshold of your rep range. So if you're doing 8 to 12 reps and you hit 12 or 13, up the weight. If you hit 12 or 13 but your form was not good, keep the weight. If your goal is 4 to 8 and you hit 8 with good form up the weight. That's pretty much how I do it, kind of what I follow. Another one is, what's the best way to warm up before heavy compound lifts like squats or deadlifts? I never know if I'm doing too much or too little. So to warm up for compounds, you just do the compound with light weight. So let's say I'm going to squat 225. I'm probably going to do warm-ups with 135. Just slow, controlled reps until there's adequate blood in the area. Then I'm going to probably up it to maybe 185. And I'm going to do, if I'm going for 8 reps, I'm going to do like 3 or 4 there. Then I'm up to my actual weight and do 1 rep just for CNS. And 1 slow, controlled rep. Because you should be able to do it slow and controlled because that's the weight you're using for your full set. And you should be doing multiple reps, so you should be able to do it. And then you go into the movement. Me personally, what I like to do and what I've always done, I never do squats, never have done squats or deadlift at the beginning of a workout. I always do the super heavy compound at the end because I know that if I give all out in a movement like that, it is going to impact everything else. So I save it for the end. And it allows me to use lighter weight because I'm already exhausted. The weight is not what matters. It's the muscle you're trying to build, right? Ultimately. So for my leg days, when I'm on a bulk, my leg days look like this. Leg extensions, abduction, adduction, curls, and I always do curls before extensions because it gets blood to the knee first. I used to do the same thing with triceps and biceps, but recently I just started, last 2 workouts I've done triceps first just because it was easier. I was already there. But I do calf raises, abduction, curl, extension, and then I go into my squat. So by the time I get to my squat, I only have to do 1 rep with the weight I'm going to use, and I'm warm. Because everything's already warm. I have blood in all the area. All I'm doing is warming up the central nervous system to handle the weight that I'm going to be using. So that's how I do it. And that's how I know a lot of people will say you should always hit the larger muscle groups first. I completely disagree with that because like I said, if you actually are going to failure, hitting those large big movements first, you're drained the rest of your workout. It doesn't make sense to me. It makes sense to get blood to the area first. The same reason I do a fly before I do a press. Like, it's just basic. Um, so that's that question. Next one. How often should I train each muscle group if my goal is to build muscle as fast as possible? You should train it, as often as you can, which sounds absolutely bananas. But if you can train everything once a week going to failure, you will put on muscle. If you notice that you can always decrease volume and add rest because that's what you do as you get bigger. So I would recommend maybe starting every day, right? And then if you see a slow in pace, go to every other day and add rest as you need it, and you will build muscle literally as quickly as possible. If you're taking too much rest, there's too much time in between. If you're not stimulating, then you're not growing as much as you could be. So just keep all those things in line, and everything will be good. So next question, which I think is the last one. Do you recommend tracking every set and rep, or is it okay to just go by feel sometimes? I personally think if you're in a deficit, tracking every set and rep isn't as important. But if you're in a bulk, your goal is to build muscle, and the way you build muscle is by going to failure and progressive overload. They kind of go hand in hand, because as you get stronger to go to failure, you have to go heavier or do more reps. So I think in a bulk or a main gain phase, track everything, because not just because you should and you need to for progress, but also because it's cool. Having a journal with everything, bro, in 10 years, and you have 5 journals of just all your lifts, that's cool. That's that's something that's cool. That's cool. So deficit, you don't have to do it as you don't have to like worry about it as much, make too much of a headache. I personally still do it on a deficit because that's just how I am. I just track everything, but I like it. I think it's good. Um, and I like to see if I'm getting weaker because it helps me. Um, just helps me. So that is it for me. Uh, yeah.